Hello everyone, welcome to Prime Business. I am Pius Kojobaka, and as part of our build-up to the 2026 budget, we know the Finance Minister, Dr. Kasiela Tuforsen, is expected to focus on existing special initiatives and programs to help create more jobs from next year. This will be highlighted in the budget that will be presented to Parliament tomorrow. More in this report. Sources say government is looking at how the current program can be fully implemented so that the economy can benefit from the real dividend that comes with these initiatives. So, for instance, how can government extend the needed funding to the 24-hour economy program and the Big Push agenda in order to take off smoothly? This will result in the Finance Minister not rolling out fresh projects and initiatives for 2026, but rather give more details on how government is planning to fund these projects. The Finance Minister will also be outlining other measures that will help deal with the unemployment situation in the country. The Minister will also use the occasion to highlight how government has worked hard to stabilize the economy, looking at what they inherited and what they've done so far. There will be some details about the IMF program and what government's plan is for the economy after the program ends in May 2026. It is not clear for now whether government will heed to the IMF's request for some technical extension of the program by some 6 months. We shall be bringing you full coverage of the 2026 budget tomorrow. Now, government will roll out additional measures to stabilize the economy and sustain growth momentum. That's according to the Deputy Government Spokesperson, Shamima Muslim. According to her, policy efforts remain focused on strengthening macroeconomic stability and restoring confidence. Now, she was speaking at the Africa Best Business Awards in Ghana.
Deputy Government Spokesperson Shamima Muslim at the awards emphasized that the government will continue working closely with the private sector to drive growth and job creation.
Distinguished guests, our theme tonight, honoring business brilliance, shaping Africa's future, perfectly embodies the spirit of President Mahama's Resetting Ghana agenda, a bold vision to rebuild our economy through enterprise, innovation, and strategic partnerships and investments.
Meanwhile, business leader Prince Kofi Amoaben urged entrepreneurs to remain resilient and innovative despite current economic challenges.
You have your product and your processes streamlined, and then you have your customers liking you, and you have your people aligned to your vision and everything. The profits will come. But when it comes, what really propels you to be a great company is your name, your image, your brand. And I'm very happy at this point to say that UT's brand at the time, which carried us from a staff of 4 to a staff of about 2,500 plus, all within a period of about 14, 15 years.
The Africa Best Business Awards Ghana brought together industry players, entrepreneurs to celebrate excellence and discuss ways to strengthen Ghana's business environment.
The Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry to strengthen trade and investment relations between the two countries. President of the Chamber of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Stefan Mason Abbas, says the partnership will help open new opportunities for businesses on both sides. He spoke to Joy Business in Barbados on the sidelines of the 2025 GUBA Awards, which brought together business leaders and policymakers from Africa and the Caribbean to promote economic collaboration and cultural ties.
The signing took place in Barbados on the sidelines of the 2025 GUBA Awards, a high-profile event that celebrates excellence, innovation, and leadership within the African and Caribbean communities. President of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Stefan Abbas Meza, described the MOU as a major step toward bridging the trade gap between Ghana and Barbados.
This has been long overdue, more especially that there's a lot of space and time between the two countries. And coming over here has always been a difficult task. What we are trying to work on now as a chamber in Ghana is, first of all, focus on getting a permanent direct flight, even if it's starting with at least twice in a month or twice in a week. That is what is most important for us to do. Once we get back to Ghana, we want to work with Foreign Affairs, we want to work with the Ministry of Trade and Industry, under which the chamber operates. We want to work with other stakeholders and industry players to see how we can get this permanent flight coming.
President of the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Paul Innes, welcomed the agreement, noting that such collaborations are essential to driving regional growth.
The MOU actually have been long time coming, as we would say. Our Executive Director, Michelle Obam Clark, who is with us today, would have shared with me, I'm the new president for the Barbados Chamber, and this was in the works for the last, I think, 3 years or so. So it is actually a fantastic opportunity to be able to seal and complete this particular arrangement with the Ghana Chamber of Commerce, because we need to actually look beyond our normal markets for partnerships.
President and Chief Executive of Guba Enterprise, Denta Amwatin, whose organization facilitated the engagement, said the partnership reflects Guba's broader vision of connecting Africa and the Caribbean through economic empowerment and cultural unity.
This is definitely going to benefit Ghana and Barbados. Why? Because the Chamber has members, the Barbados Chamber has members, and we need to start trading amongst each other. We can start doing webinars, we can start doing trade missions. And I think it's really important that we recognize that we are one people. And so trading amongst each other, I always said that, look, we can have cocoa in Ghana, but we can get it processed here in Barbados to send it off. We can have products that are made in Ghana and then shipped to 44 million people. That's the access that you get here in Barbados, Latin America, America, and the Caribbean. So this is a starting point of a bigger relationship, of a bigger trade amongst each other. And so I'm excited that Guba was able to facilitate this.
The 2025 Guba Awards held in Bridgetown, Barbados, showcase influential figures and organizations making an impact across business, innovation, and community development. The event will serve as a platform to highlight the growing synergy between Africa and the Caribbean, reinforcing the need for continued collaboration in trade, tourism, and investment.
The British High Commissioner to Ghana, Christian Rock, is calling for more opportunities to be created for businesses in both Ghana and the UK to help drive economic growth. Speaking at the UK-Ghana Chamber of Commerce Annual Awards, Mr. Rogg emphasized the importance of stronger trade and investment partnerships between the two nations. He said closer collaboration between Ghanaian and British businesses would not only boost trade volumes, but also create jobs and innovation on both sides.
The UK-Ghana Chamber of Commerce Annual Awards brought together business leaders, diplomats, and policymakers to celebrate partnerships that strengthen trade and investment between the two countries. British High Commissioner Christian Rock used the occasion to call for more opportunities to be created for businesses in both countries, saying such efforts are vital for job creation and long-term economic growth.
In fact, when I called on His Excellency, the President, to present my credentials, in the conversation, growth, investment, trade featured very prominently. The latest figures that we have show that the bilateral trade relationship between the UK and Ghana stands at around £1.5 billion per year, which is a phenomenally high number. But I think it's also fair to recognize that that number was a bit higher a few years ago. So the opportunities are definitely there to do more. That requires a bit of luck with the external environment that we're all facing, the trading negotiations and things like that.
Executive Director of the UK-Ghana Chamber of Commerce, Ajoba Chiama, praised the resilience and innovation of member companies, noting that the awards are meant to celebrate excellence and inspire further collaboration.
Commerce was established to promote and grow trade, help grow trade between the UK and Ghana. And when it comes to the private sector, I think we're the foremost establishment that does this. We work very closely with the UK government and the Ghana government.
The UK GCC Awards continue to serve as a platform for strengthening economic ties and promoting investment opportunities between the two nations.
This is still Prime Business. The Corporate Secretarial and Training Services Limited, in partnership with Gimba School of Law, the Ghana Institute of Directors Ghana, and the State Interest and Governance Authority, known as SIGA, is set to hold the Corporate Governance Series slated for tomorrow, 13th November 2025, at the Gimpa Law School. The series is conceived as a dynamic platform for sustained, informed dialogue on critical issues of corporate governance with particular focus on the unique Ghanaian context. Now, the theme for the event is strengthening corporate governance of state-owned enterprises in Ghana, opportunities and challenges. And we want to learn more about the dialogue happening tomorrow. Joining us via Zoom is Joseph Sapong, Acting Head of Governance, Risk and Compliance at SIGA. Joseph, thank you so much for making time to join us here on Prime Business. And I know you'll be on the panel tomorrow. Talk to us about the importance of the theme, strengthening corporate governance of state-owned entities in Ghana, opportunities and challenges.
All right, thank you very much and good evening to your viewers. As we already know, as part of Ghana's effort to provide services for the populace, various governments established the state-owned enterprises to perform policy functions and also to provide services for the state. These entities currently, we have about 53 SOEs. We have 47 joint venture companies, and we have 75 other state entities. Together, the Act 990 classified them as SCs. Now, when you look at the SCs in terms of the asset base, based on the 2024 State Ownership Report, these SCs possess about 777.7 billion in assets, making about 70.8% of the nominal GDP for 2024. And so if these SCs are not performing, then there's a need for us to assess and find out what are the causes. And one of the key issues we have identified is the poor corporate governance practices among the SCs. And so we find the engagement with CSTCL as a key catalyst for us to advocate and engage all the stakeholders and have a broader discussion as to how we can strengthen governance in the SOEs. It is only when we are able to get the governance right at the SOEs, then we are able to turn these huge assets the state has bestowed on the leadership of the SOEs to be able to turn them around, generate the needed returns to support the national development. So we see the platform as an important engagement for us to highlight how huge the SOE sector is in terms of the asset the state has given to them and the key challenges that we are facing, one of which I have mentioned as the corporate governance challenges, and then the opportunities to address them.
Great topic you have there, but what is the expected outcome of the dialogue tomorrow?
Of course, this is an advocacy platform where SIGA engages with academia, we have speakers from IOD, and we have business practitioners to dialogue and see the way forward. Of course, we have other institutions that are doing so well as far as corporate governance is concerned. And given the dynamics and the challenges we are facing, we believe when we have this open dialogue and we all come together, we'll be able to have tailor-made agreement as to how we can address the governance challenges in the SOEs, highlighting the need for us to be able to move forward from where we are.
That's fine. So where and what time is the dialogue and who can attend, really?
So the dialogue is taking place at the Gimpa Law School, and we have opened the portal for participants to be registered and also participate in the engagement. It is open for the general public. We are looking at students, we are looking at academia, we are looking at business leaders to join us tomorrow for this important engagement.
And the time again is?
We are having it at 4:30 p.m., sir.
That's fine. Thank you so much, Joseph Sapong, for making time to speak to us here on Prime Business as part of efforts to, advocate more corporate governance structure in our SOEs. You're still watching Prime Business. We have more stories for you after this break. Hello, welcome back to Prime Business. Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Abinamwa, has called for the scrapping of capital gains tax to encourage investment in the country's financial market. Speaking at a ceremony to mark the 10th anniversary of the Ghana fixed income market, Abinamwa explained that such levies serve as a disincentive to investors, making the market unattractive More in this report.
Since its establishment in August 2015, the Ghana fixed income market has recorded over 1.3 trillion trades. The market, however, witnessed a drop in volumes from 230 billion in 2022 to 98 billion in 2023, largely due to the domestic debt exchange program. At a ceremony to celebrate a decade of resilience, Dr. Johnson Esiama, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, bemoaned the dominance of Government of Ghana bonds over corporate issuances.
As we celebrate this progress, the structure of the market still reveals gaps. Gaps such as government securities that dominate activity while corporate issuance remains limited. Big gap that we need to fill. Having survived its first great test for the past decade, we need to focus on resilience by design.
Outlining a number of reforms to enable the diversification of the market, Abena Amwa, Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, called for the scrapping of the capital gains tax to encourage investment in the financial market.
Incentives for multinationals to localize their ownership using the Ghana Stock Exchange. Governor, thank you for the new one we've started working on. And 4, and here I talk for the whole industry, a review of capital gains tax on listed securities, and we want it back to zero. Honorable Deputy Minister of Finance.
On her part, Chairperson of the Ghana Stock Exchange Council, Pearl Nkrumah, reiterated the need for reforms that will ensure a resilient and diversified market.
As we look to the next decade, our focus must be on the deeper market development, stronger investor confidence, and policy alignment that enables innovation and attracts new issuers. Ghana has the potential to be a true regional investment hub.
The event was held under the theme, Deepening Markets, Expanding Possibilities.
As Ghana's housing deficit nears 2 million units, Vandi Prime developers are urging government to regulate building material prices to make housing more affordable for low and middle income earners. More in this report.
Vadi Prime Developers has announced the launch of its highly anticipated integrated residential community in Malejo in Accra, featuring 3 distinct property units designed to deliver quality living and lasting value for a wide range of buyers. According to the General Manager of Vadi Prime Developers, Thomas Clifford Amwa, the launch reaffirms Vadi Prime's commitment to providing ideal and affordable home ownership solutions for low and middle income earners in Ghana.
We're looking at the direct investment in the country and the aspect of the foreigners that are always trooping into the country. There's that need for upscale building, and we already have companies that are doing that. But currently at the market, there are lots and lots of people who currently do not have homes, though we have many upscale buildings that are empty. And it is at that point that Vadi Prime Developers will become very crucial in the market, because for us, we are targeting the low to middle income earners, and our aim is to be a preferred choice for the low to middle income earners, and we seek to serve that market. Is a niche for us. That is our target. And looking at the general market, it looks more of an upscale kind of a thing. But we come in as Vadi Prime Developers and we provide affordable housing. And in our affordability, we are trying to define luxury in the sense of it being affordable as well.
Mr. Newman also called for stronger government intervention to make the real estate sector more attractive to both investors and developers.
Because now we are looking at the construction materials. Sometimes the prices are too much on the high, and that directly affects the pricing we as developers need to put on our products as well. And I think the government should be able to regulate the pricings we have in this country, because it gets to a point where just anyone from anywhere raises a price and people need to adjust to be able to fit into that same market as well. Looking at the high prices of land, I think it's too much on the high, and the government can partner with private developers so that at least the very cost of the land won't be factored in the overall pricing.
The 3 new projects by Vadi Prime developers, the Eldison, Acadian Court, and Verdant Enclave, each offer unique features and flexible pricing options, ensuring there is a suitable home for every buyer.
That's it for Prime Business. I am Pius Kojo Baka. You can always get business stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Prime Sports is next.